Okay, y'all. What and what we're gonna do is the verdict will reach by Cory Bigsby talking to him about the jury found that he was guilty, and he felt that when you found guilty, you know how they're gonna feel. So he think that his son is has changed his story. Things have changed, or somebody's scoped him into telling what happened, but he don't feel that he was treated fairly. Of course, he gonna feel like that. He gonna think that. So let's listen to the verdict. And after the verdict, I want y'all to hear what Cory Bigsby had to say. Okay, and if I can get a mod, Neek, somebody, Michelle, to come in, somebody to come in and play the role as a mod, I appreciate it.
On the charge of second-degree murder, the jury found Cory Bigsby guilty. On the charge of concealing a body, the jury found Cory Bigsby guilty. That is, guilty on both counts for the murder of his son, Cody Bigsby, the young 3-year-old, 4 at the time that he was reported missing, back in January of 2022. The prosecution told us throughout this case that Cody was in fact murdered months prior, before he was reported missing. In June of 2021 is when the prosecution says that he was killed. Let's walk over here. Nehemiah is the photographer going to be working with me on bringing you this live report. And
wow, and he gonna say June of 2021 instead of 2022. Okay, then if he was walking around, wait a minute, somebody lied. That's why he locked up.
Shortly, we should expect some of the members of this trial, some important members of this trial, to begin leaving the courtroom, and we kind of want to get their reaction to what happened today. We would like to hear from Commonwealth's attorney Anton Bell and his assistant senior Commonwealth's attorney Dylan Arnold, who prosecuted this case. This is a rare no-body case. It is only the 4th no-body case to be prosecuted in Hampton Roads history. All of them, now officially with Cory Bigsby, have ended with guilty verdicts. The jury, made up of 8 women and 4 men, gave their unanimous verdict just a few minutes ago. I understand the jury's going to be walking out, so we don't want to show the jury. Instead, we're going to pan the camera elsewhere, give them space, give them privacy. But in fact, the jury of 12, after a long 7 days, now leaving that courthouse. Janet, if you have any questions, feel free to direct them my way. This, has been a 7-day trial, culminated with closing arguments this morning from the defense, from the prosecution, and then it ended with the guilty verdicts this afternoon. But Janet, what is striking about this case is that there was no physical evidence. It was only circumstantial evidence that the jury was able to convict. There were no fingerprints, no DNA, no body, and at the end of the day, Janet, the jury said that did not matter.
All right, and Dan, it seems like they came up with that decision very quickly. How long exactly did they deliberate?
Yeah, Janet, so they began deliberations at about 11:25 this morning, and then about an hour later at 12:30, they all had a question. They wanted to review 2 pieces of video that was entered into evidence earlier this week. One of those videos was an interrogation between a Hampton Police Division detective and Cory Bigsby a few days after he reported his son missing. Another video was of the first responding officer to the Bigsby home on January 31st, 2022. And in that video, you see Cory Bigsby offer up Cody's pillowcase to use as scent for a tracking dog. Ultimately, the tracking dog K9 handler got up on the stand and testified that they used that pillowcase and were not able to find any scent of Cody. So that was at 12:30 when the jury returned asking to see those 2 pieces of video. And then an hour later, they had their verdict. So, Janet, that is a long way of answering your question. The answer to your question is under 2 hours that this jury took to deliberate on these charges of murder and concealing a body.
All right, Dan, one other thing I wanted to bring up, yesterday you talked about the aunt testifying, Cody's aunt, and she mentioned that she saw Cody, I believe, in September of 2021, but yet the prosecution was saying that they believed that Cody died in, I guess it was June of 2021. There was that discrepancy there. Right. You then had another witness who came up and said that he saw Cody about 2 days or so before he was reported missing. I know in that moment there may have been some doubt created, but talk about how the prosecution handled that particular point when that came up.
Yeah, ultimately, Janet, it was going to be up to this jury to decide the credibility of each and every witness that they heard from. That included the credibility of Cory Bigsby's sister, Cody's aunt, talking about, and it also included the credibility of the 7-year-old who testified in this case. That would be Cory Bigsby's 7-year-old brother. Ultimately, the jury weighed the credibility of the testimony, and they decided that they chose to believe the testimony of the 7-year-old brother and the testimony of Cory Bigsby's mother, who said that she had not seen Cory Bigsby, had not seen a picture of him, had not heard from him since at least June of 2021. And then you have the brother, the 7-year-old brother, who got up on the stand, and this morning prosecutors said that that was their key witness. It was not the confession letters from jail, and we know there were 4 confession letters from Cory Bigsby in jail. The prosecution said that's not what we're basing our case on. That's just the icing on top. That's the confirmation for our evidence. They said the big moment in the trial for them, for the prosecution, was hearing from that 7-year-old testify that he found his brother dead and last saw his brother dead in bed. But Janet, ultimately, we did hear the aunt's testimony saying that she saw Cody alive at a family gathering in September of 2021. But there was no photo evidence of that. We also heard from a Hampton man who said that he saw Cody alive at a Food Lion just a couple days before his face was plastered all over the news on
In that case, then they could have got Cody mixed up with his brother. Maybe him and his brother favor. And they thought that his brother was him.
January 31st, 2022. But again, there was no photo evidence of that. So even though this case was built on circumstantial evidence, ultimately the jury decided to opt for the credibility of the prosecution's witnesses as opposed to the defense's. And Janet, forgive me as I keep looking back. We are waiting for some of the key attorneys to walk out of these doors. We want to hear from Curtis Brown, who is the lead attorney for Cory Bigsby. He's aided by Ken Singleton and Amini Mathine Willard. They have had a comment for us all week long, so this could be our first chance to hear from Bigsby's attorneys and perhaps how they plan to move forward. Do they have an appeal that they want to make at some point? But their client right now looking up to 45 years in prison. Of course, he will be sentenced at a later date.
Yeah, and Dan, you touched on this when you talked about the 7-year-old little boy who testified. And then, we saw the mother on the stand. We saw the aunt on the stand. And the interesting thing is that the mother and the son, the little boy, they testified for the prosecution and the aunt for the defense. And it just sort of underscores how emotional. And if you need to go, I see you looking. We're prepared to break away there, but
you're good. We are. I'm sorry, Janet. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, it just underscores how emotional this whole thing has been from the very beginning. We know how the community just rallied around that little boy, just so concerned about his well-being and just how much people came out and they were searching the vigils that were held, that fence that was put up in Buckrow where you had all the little stuffed animals and the letters, just extremely heartfelt. And then you see the trial happen and the family members having to testify in that trial. That must have been something to see and
Janet, on that note, this is a woman who has been a Cody supporter from the start, Nancy Strickland.
We gotta follow his face. When we seen his face, we fell in love with him.
Oh, baby.
And he became 7x7's child. That's what Cory Bigsby did.
We got justice.
Yeah.
Where's Cody?
Right.
Y'all been out here for a long time looking for baby.
Oh my God, guys.
Nancy, what are your general emotions right now? You were here every day of this trial. What does it feel like to hear the guilty verdict?
Oh my God, I wanted to get up and scream. But I couldn't. I wanted to get up and scream. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus, because we've wanted this for 26 months, and we finally got it.
Well, what was the turning moment in the case? You heard all the testimony. What was the strongest?
For me, is when the man got up and said he seen Cody in the grocery store.
And with the money you collected, would you be paying the bench now?
And he, yes, Mom gives me permission, yes. So, oh God.
The man in the grocery store.
Yes, when the man in the grocery store said he seen Cody that week and 2 days before Cory reported him missing. And it was DJ. It was not even Cody.
I told you.
It was DJ, and the man said, "This is him."
I told y'all. I told you it could have been Cody, little brother. It could have been his big brother, the 7-year-old. It probably wasn't even the little bit of one. It was his brother. How them brothers look alike.
Well, what's next for the Where is Cody movement?
Searching.
You're not giving up on finding him.
I will not give up on Cory Bigsby. I will not do it.
And ma'am, you were in here all week long too. What's your reaction hearing the guilty verdict today?
When the Commonwealth said, with all the evidence, he wrote his own confession. No one forced him. He wasn't crazy. That was guilt. From that child letting him know you're guilty.
So for you, it was the jail confession letters.
Jail confessions.
Okay. The jail confession.
He sealed his fate. No one could ever describe something like that. No.
All right, we're going to come over here and try to grab some members of the family. We appreciate the members of the community. This is Cory Bigsby's sister. Let's see if she has a comment. She testified on the stand yesterday.
I never lied from the beginning, and I don't lie now.
Tandalia, so you saw Cody on September 2021?
She said, excuse her. Don't put nothing in my face.
Oh, don't y'all be like that.
I said, don't put nothing in my face. Don't ask me no questions.
So the woman who we tried to ask questions from there was the sister of Cory Bigsby. She was the one who took the stand the other day, and we're going to go over here and try to grab an attorney. This is Mr. Curtis Brown. He was the lead counsel for Cory Bigsby, and we're going to see if Mr. Brown, can we just get a statement from you on the guilt of your client today?
No, you can't get one from me. You keep putting the news reports like you put them. Okay.
Mr. Singleton, would you have any comment today?
I have no comment.
Somebody should say something.
They got what they wanted, so I'm hoping that they're happy and hoping that you all are happy. Okay, you understand? They're happy. You all presented the case. You all presented the case the way that y'all wanted, as if he was guilty already and everything. So y'all should be satisfied.
Sir, are you going to appeal?
We'll talk.
Mr. Brown, do you feel as though you had a fair chance with this case?
No.
You were in there. You were in the court, okay?
Yes.
I called Mr. Bell. I said that everybody, you striking all these black people. You black, I said I'm black.
Doing it. We're talking about a child. We're talking about a 3-year-old.
Quit throwing race cards.
Okay, that is Mr. Curtis Brown. That is the lead attorney for Cory Bigsby, offering no comment on this
Ain't
case.
nobody
not
talking
even
about no
saying if they
race.
would
That's
plan
it. That's the
to
truth.
appeal.
Talking about that
Nina,
baby.
do you have anything to say? Okay. All right, let's go over here. This is
I ain't nobody
Mr.
got
Bell.
nothing to
We're
say.
live on the air. If we could just get your reaction.
We're going to do a press conference.
Okay,
He about to do a press
we
conference.
will do that. Chief Weidman, while we have you, we know that you were not chief at the time, but you've certainly been following this case very closely.
Along with Mr. Anton's comments.
Okay. We're going to expect to hear from Chief Weidman and Commonwealth's attorney Anton Bell here at a news
Get a young
conference that we
baby
said
like
should
that.
be
They need
happening
to
very
leave these
shortly.
babies alone.
Janet, as you can see, a lot unfolding out here, but we're trying to speak to as many people as possible. Any other questions you have for us at this time, Janet?
Yeah, Dan, you're doing a wonderful job of getting the reaction, and I'm just really touched by Nancy, the first lady that you spoke to, and that just speaks to all of the emotion that we were talking about earlier. This is a case that has just touched so many
Wonder
people
why the sister
across
didn't
Hampton
want to say
Roads. I
that.
mean, in my recent memory here, I've been here for a long time, and I can't recall a
I
case
couldn't
that
look
meant
at
so
this
much to
case,
so many
y'all.
people. Cody,
I
only
couldn't
3
look at
years
it.
old, I guess, at the
Cause
time of
his
his
age.
death. When he was introduced to us, we knew him as that 4-year-old little boy. His picture on billboards. You hear the emotion out there. Obviously, the defense attorney's not ready to talk about this, but Anton Bell getting ready to hold a news conference. Dan, they're talking to you about those confessions that were testified about during the trial, the things that he wrote in that composition book. That obviously had a big impact.
I think you're right. And Janet, if you can hang on with me, we've been told that we are allowed to come in here and speak with Anton right now. So
Okay.
I do want to warn you, we are live. But we're going to go ahead and get set up for this news conference. Janet, if you could still hang with me, we will take that live here in just a moment. But any other questions or commentary, go ahead and pass it my way.
Okay. I'm very interested in finding out what Mr. Bell has to say in terms of how this case was handled. Dan, did you hear anything during the trial from the defense about how short their case was? And if my memory serves me correctly, I believe they presented their case in about a day and a half. Did anybody find that unusual with only 6 witnesses?
Yeah, Janet, it was just about half a day of testimony we heard from the defense. Not that I have heard, but that is certainly going to be a question we have. And Janet, if I could talk back to you just for 2 minutes while we get set up, and I'll let you know when we're ready to take this news conference live.
All right, we'll do that. Okay, Dan Kennedy on the job there.
Okay, what I'm gonna do
doing
is
exactly what he should
skip
do.
all of this and let y'all hear this.
People from all over the area, all over the state, really, and you even had people who came in from
He should be
out of state
ashamed of
who came
himself.
to Hampton trying to find. There he is, that little boy there. You wonder what's going on in his mind there, and that sort of solemn look that he has on his face. People came to the Buckrow area. That's the general area where he lived, wondering, at first we all hoped that this would end up happily. It did not. At first, the father, Cory Bigsby, was charged with child neglect, but that had nothing to do with Cody. Apparently, that had to do with the kids, his other kids that he has, and he was charged with child neglect. Then later, sometime later, the charges for murder, second-degree murder, came up. Nobody in this case. Cody has never been found. We know that was a challenge for the prosecution. As Dan has mentioned, it's like the 4th time that there's been a
decided to opt for the credibility of the prosecution's witnesses.
Let me tell you something. They haven't found that boy.
Any kind of chance for an appeal. But as for now, he returns back behind bars. Janet, as you know, he was out on bond after being behind bars for 15 months.
Okay, what I want to do is show y'all the daddy locked up. Now I was trying to wait on that, but listen to what he's saying, and he still not a man to tell them where that little boy at, y'all. He still ain't told them where his son is.
It's a number of different things. For one, I don't feel like my attorneys were provided the proper information. Me and my attorneys never went over anything before we went to trial. Sat down and talked about anything. I never seen none of the stuff that they presented in court. There was no videos given to us that we asked for to prove any of the information that they was given, which was lies. It was all lies about dates when I went to suicide watch and all kinds of things. My son said something totally different in the first 2 interviews that he was given in the beginning, which was 2 years ago. Then all of a sudden my son come and say some stuff that was coerced. No, my son never seen his brother land anywhere lifeless.
How you know? How do you know? Suppose that little boy telling the truth. Shouldn't did nothing to the child.
So you're saying you never got a chance to view the Commonwealth's evidence?
I never got a chance to view any of that.
Is it because your attorneys didn't show you, or that your attorneys never got it?
Either my attorneys didn't get it, because I know they asked for it in preliminaries, they didn't get it, or they didn't show it to me. And then another thing was, for one, I was ambushed because my attorneys never got to interview my son about anything before trial. We didn't even know who was going to be up there. I didn't know who was going to be up there.
But where's the baby now?
That they were showing was trash videos. For one, you're talking to me through the intercom, right? I'm telling you, for one, I'm being mistreated. I'm not getting proper showers. My family was being sent information through the tablets that you use over at the jail. I was sending them up-to-date text information on the things that they were doing as far as torturing me. As far as me not getting showers, not giving my proper medication.
You know, every case that we have tried over here, it's always turned to the suspect turning everything on them. They feeling guilty that they blaming it's all about him right now. It's all about that daddy right now. He ain't said nothing about Cody yet. It's all about him. It's not even about Cody.
And all that kind of stuff, which was supposed to have been on video.
At Hampton Roads Regional Jail.
Yes, Hampton Roads Regional Jail. My lawyer and my family have up-to-date text information on all that stuff that I provided. When I was going through the child neglect cases, I had sent her all that stuff. Then when I showed up to the court, when I had court for the child neglect cases, and I got sentenced over there, I showed up to court. I was frail. I was like 54 pounds less than what I was when I first went in there because I wasn't being fed properly.
So let's go into that. How do you feel your treatment was in the jail?
It was definitely subpar. I was not being treated right.
What about Cody?
I didn't get showers every other day like we were supposed to. I didn't get gym time like I was supposed to.
You know what, y'all? Why is it that the guilt always I just don't understand. Why do they always turn the attention on themselves? Where is Cody? Y'all know they still haven't found that baby. He knows something. It's his son. Was he trying to get back with the mom?
You produced several statements in jail confessing about Cody's death.
No, there was no confessions about anybody's death that I presented to anybody. Because for one, those statements that I gave to them was because they were talking to me through the intercom when I was telling them, when are we going to get showers? I was asking the COs, when are we going to get showers? When are we getting out of here? Because I had kept asking them as they would do their rounds, like what time are we coming out for showers? They would tell us, oh, you're not getting a shower today, or you'll get a shower later, and then we wouldn't get the shower. So I ended up talking to the COs through the intercom, because it's an intercom in every cell that they use, right? Asking them about shower times and all that kind of specific stuff. And I was not getting the proper answers. I said, look, whatever I got to do to get out of here. So they kept telling me, write a confession letter then. And I kept telling them I'm not confessing to anything because there's nothing to confess to. So I said, okay, I'll write a letter. So when I wrote the letter, right, the letter was supposed to be about me coming in the house and my son being unconscious and me not knowing that he was unconscious, like it was an accident. Then all of a sudden it went from them telling me to write that, because they were telling me what to write through the intercoms. They were telling me what to write down on the paper, and I was telling them I wasn't going to write it. It went from that to them telling me specifically to write certain things that I wrote in the one letter that was X'd out. It was written, yes, it was written in crayon and it was X'd out. I never turned that into anybody. They so-called said that they came in my room to do a search because I was on suicide watch, right? If I'm on suicide watch and you come to my room to do an inspection, right? What would make you flip through every page and read it? If anything, you would just shake that to see if I had any weapons or anything in there to try to present.
You can't tell them what to think.
They even said that in court. I never told anybody that I was going to kill myself, so why am I on suicide watch? Then they said I was put over there because I did this. If a CO is walking past, how I'm going to get their attention? Hey, CO.
Because you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
Something to be on suicide watch for?
You're a criminal.
It don't make sense, do it?
You wrote some pretty graphic details. You know, a lot of people say, how could he have written those graphic details if it wasn't?
You could tell that was trash details because, for one, I never said, for one, you don't even have a body, right? So how I'm going to give you a building number and all of this stuff where you can find my son at and then you don't find him there? That's trash. So you already know that was definitely something that was made up. Okay, then secondly, I killed my son, then I went to Busch Gardens, I did this, I went to the store.
That's some.
Come on now.
But see, but most criminals do that. Cory, what you're trying to say is, Mr. Bigsby, that it don't happen, but it does happen like that. It's plenty of parents that did this to they delete their kid and go elsewhere, like ain't nothing happened to them. And your eyes telling me something different.
All right.
So you wrote the letters to basically appease the officers
to get me out of there and take me over to the mental health ward.
Why? You can't tell them to do that.
So that I could be treated properly, because over on the mental health ward, they have free access to roam around.
Listen, y'all. Listen, real deal. He telling them people. He tell them people how he want to be served. You don't have no mental issue like that to be moved nowhere else like that. You need to stay where you are. You can't tell them people where to place you at. Who are you? Tell us where you hid Cody at.
To watch TV, to eat, to exercise, all that kind of stuff. They don't go through all the things that we go through over there.
You don't need to exercise.
I tried to commit suicide. I told anybody I was suicidal. So I should have never been put on no suicide ward. And then they lied about how long I was over there. The 3 times that I was over there way longer than they said I was over there. And it's videos inside the jail of every single thing that you do. There's no reason why.
I don't feel sorry for them. I'm sorry, y'all.
Tell them to show you a video with a timestamp on it, showing them moving me from that ward over to the next ward. I bet you they can't present that. I didn't even get a chance to call home and talk to my family. The last time I talked to my family was around June of 2022. Up until the time that I left was June of 2023. So it was like a year that I didn't even get to talk to my family. They don't even have no phone calls or anything of me talking to my family during that time frame. For a whole year, I didn't get to talk to my family. I didn't even get tablet access because they took the tablets away and wouldn't even let me use a tablet.
So what was your mental state?
Yeah.
My mental state was always fine, just the same way it is right now when I'm talking to you.
I told y'all. That's what I was just saying. Ain't nothing wrong with him. Ain't nothing wrong with this man. So why did you want them? It's a reason why you. Look, y'all, we're going to come back to him right here, but let's go right here. Oh, Lord. Let's go right here because he done got on my nerve. He done gave me a headache while he's sitting there holding his head. He done gave me a headache.
A little boy named Cory Bigsby, and we began
8 ball because we were already 6 months.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me see what he's saying right here.
all in the room, or have you gotten any kind of an update on when he may actually come to the podium? Okay. Okay, apparently Dan is not on mic now, but moles and okay, let's go back to that podium, and Mr. Bell is about to speak.
I specifically asked for co-counsel, and the chief of police to be here beside me. So, are you guys ready? Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to say to God be the glory, because I am a spiritual person, and I believe that he was literally ordering the steps of this trial. As many of you know, when we started out with this particular case, we were already behind the 8 ball, because we were already 6 months behind what had actually occurred. And we were able to prove that. But when someone has that much of a lead ahead of you, it makes it very difficult trying to go back and put the pieces together. So let me just first thank my trial and my litigation team, first with Dylan Arnold, who is a deputy in my office. He has done a phenomenal job in trying this case with me. And also my victim service director, the number of witnesses. You guys know that there were a number of witnesses that were extremely large in number, and we were able to kind of, pare it down to just the necessary witness to be able to put this case on. The paralegals that were involved, Ebony Perry, who was the lead paralegal, and my assistant Nicolette Brown, who was also a part of this litigation team, my amazing investigators, who just did an awesome job in being able to put this case together, and then my in-house investigators, who also helped with being able to put all the things together. But kind of focus a little bit first on Dina Abdul Kareem, the mother of Cody. I am extremely proud of her. It took such courage. And the reason why I say it took such courage, because there are things that happened behind the scenes in that relationship that the public did not know. And there were things that occurred that we could not bring into the court case because it would have been seen as prejudicial. So she had to sit there, as many of you heard, and really be defamed. She had to sit there and be called a bad mother. She had to sit there and really be looked down upon and keep her silence. And she did it with such grace and with such dignity. So this case was, for her, it was some level of a resolution and some level of accountability. It would never really be closure, because here's the problem. We still don't have a body. We still do not have the body, and probably will never have the body. So you can never bring complete healing and closure as a result of that. But nonetheless, for her, it was a day of victory and a day of justice. What she knew in her gut, that this man, this person, I won't call him a man, but this person had done such horrendous things to her baby, and he's now being held accountable for that. I have the chief of police up here, Chief Jimmy Weidman, on purpose. He doesn't like to be in the front of the camera, but I want him here because I really wanted to address the media to a certain degree in reference to a lot of the things that were said concerning if the police department had done enough, whether the police department followed certain leads, whether the police department followed tips, whether the police department had rushed to justice and so forth. And they took a beating in the beginning. They really did. And I'm so grateful for former Detective Stephen Rohde, who I personally asked to be on this task force concerning investigating this case, and he took that job and he took ownership of it. And that is what our department is made up. They're made up of men and women who love their community, who love to see people find some level of justice for wrongs that have been committed against them. And so I wanted the chief here because I am so proud of your department, Chief. I'm so proud of how you also maintain your dignity and grace in the midst of the slander that took place. There were, particularly from the Defense Council, a number of press interviews and even a number of press conferences that she gave. And if you guys notice, I'm usually silent in this case. Normally, I don't have a problem talking to the press. I've never had a problem talking to the press. But I was very intentional in being silent concerning this case because I did not want anyone to be able to say that I tainted any potential jury pool. I didn't want anyone to say that we are trying to get a narrative out there that would be prejudicial to the defendant. I purposely waited until this trial was concluded and the jury, the community.
Okay, y'all, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come back here. But I want to go back to the father. Let's go back to him. Why he trying
Never
to
seen his
put
brother land anywhere, lifeless, none of that.
So you're saying you never got a chance to view the Commonwealth's evidence?
I never got a chance to view any.
I don't blame him. I
Did
just
show you or that your attorneys never got?
For showers, they would tell us, oh, you're not getting a shower today, or you'll get a shower later, and then we wouldn't get the shower. So I ended up talking to the COs through the intercom, because it's an intercom in every cell that they use, right? Asking them about shower times and all that kind of specific stuff. And I was not getting the proper answers. I said, look, whatever I got to do to get out of here. So they kept telling me, write a confession letter then. And I kept telling them I'm not confessing to anything because there's nothing to confess to. So I said, okay, I'll write a letter. So when I wrote the letter, right, the letters were supposed to be about me coming in the house and my son being unconscious and me not knowing that he was unconscious, like it was an accident. Then all of a sudden it went from them telling me to write that, because they were telling me what to write through the intercoms. They were telling me what to write down on the paper, and I was telling them I wasn't going to write it. It went from that to them telling me specifically to write certain things that I wrote in the one letter that was X'd out. It was written, yes, it was written in crayon and it was X'd out. I never turned that into anybody. They so-called said that they came in my room to do a search because I was on suicide watch, right? If I'm on suicide watch and you come to my room to do an inspection, right? What would make you flip through every page and read it? If anything, you would just shake that to see if I had any weapons or anything in there to try to
not really.
any type of harm to myself, which I never did. They even said that in court. I never told anybody that I was going to kill myself, so why am I on suicide watch? And they said I was put over there because I did this. If a CO is walking past, I'm going to get their attention. Hey, CO, can I talk to you real quick? Is that something to be on suicide watch for? It don't make sense, do it?
You wrote some pretty graphic details. You know, a lot of people say, how could he have written those graphic details if it wasn't?
You could tell that was trash details because for one, I never said, for one, you don't even have a body, right? So how I'm going to give you a building number and all of this stuff where you can find my son at and then you don't find him there? That's trash. So you already know that was definitely something that was made up. Okay, then secondly, I killed my son, then I went to Busch Gardens, I did this, I went to the store, I went to take a boo-boo, all this stuff. Come on now. That don't even sound right.
So you wrote the letters to basically appease the officers to
get me out of there and take me over to the mental health ward.
So you made up a letter.
So that I could be treated properly, because over on the mental health ward, they have free access to roam around, to watch TV, to eat, to exercise, all that kind of stuff. They don't go through all the things that we go through over there. But I never tried to commit suicide or told anybody I was suicidal. So I should have never been put on the suicide ward. And then they lied about how long I was over there. The 3 times that I was over there way longer than they said I was over there. And it's videos inside the jail of every single thing that you do. There's no reason why. If they say that I left a certain date, tell them to show you a video with a timestamp on it, showing them moving.
Tell us, where is Cody? Where did you put Cody?
Me from that ward over to the next ward. I bet you they can't present that. I didn't even get a chance to call home and talk to my family. The last time I talked to my family was around June of 2022. Up until the time that I left was June of 2023. So it was like a year that I didn't even get to talk to my family. They don't even have no phone calls or anything of me talking to my family during that time frame. For a whole year, I didn't get to talk to my family. I didn't even get tablet access because they took the tablets away and wouldn't even let me use a tablet.
So what was your mental state in the jail?
My mental state was always fine, just the same way it is right now when I'm talking to you.
Well,
I had mental health counselors come and talk to me every day, and I would say, I'm fine, I'm doing fine. They would say, so tell me some things that make you happy. I said, well, I'm alive, I get to exercise, God is good. I'm praying, I'm reading the Bible. Just fine. There's nothing wrong with me. Why am I here? That's what I would ask them. Why am I still over here? Well, we got to talk to this person to see if we can move you back. And I never got moved back. Most of the time, there was not even a CO on the cell block watching us to see what was going on. Anything could have happened.
but they can't watch y'all 24/7.
Okay, Mr. Bigsby, let's dive into Dina's testimony.
What about Dina's testimony?
She had shared the email exchange where you had threatened to hurt Cody.
She ain't shared nothing. What they did was they printed out an email that I sent her, right? If I'm sending her an email telling her these things, I'm not actually saying that I'm going to pose threat to my son. What I'm saying is I'm talking to my baby mama and I'm saying, hey, we need to find out what's going on with him because it's getting to a point where, you know, I'm ready to pop him, I'm ready to do something to him that I wouldn't normally do, but I'm not actually thinking about doing those things.
What? What? Yeah, you got something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. You don't know what you just said. You know what you just said. What is wrong with y'all, man?
It's just like as if one of your kids did something. You say, sit your behind down before I pop you, right?
Yeah.
That don't mean that you're going to pop them. That just means that you're thinking about doing it.
Okay.
Why would I even talk to her about that if I'm going to kill my son? That don't even make sense. And then
The little boy ain't but 3. And he was 2. 2 to 3. How he make you that angry? That little boy make you say, get that little boy before you pop out. Before you do something serious. A kid can get you like that.
She said that she sent me an email, right? She said she sent me an email that was after. It was what, around January? Like right before I got locked up?
Wait, sorry.
Can you do this right?
It disconnected. I think it was 2.
Need to calm down because you can tell the truth. Yeah, like you're getting an attitude right now. Think you guilty.
So Dina
Okay,
had
yeah,
sent...
no, like you were saying, right? You was asking about Dina. Okay, so I told you that email was my email that I sent her. And I was sending it to her as a concerned parent, trying to get her involved with what I had going on with Cody so that we could find out what was going on with our child. Not that I really wanted to kill my child or harm my child. Anybody in their right mind would not send another parent that if they actually had thoughts of killing their child. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't
And
know.
I would never do that to my kids because I love my kids too much. Then, on top of that, they said that she sent me an email concerned about their whereabouts and what was going on, right? That wasn't presented in court. Where is that email? That email don't exist. That's some made up crap. You presented the one that I sent, right? Where's the one that she sent me?
Well, they did. The January 2020 email where she said, where are my kids?
They didn't present no email. There was no email presented. You didn't see no hard copy of that email.
They said they did.
I want you to get a hard copy of that email and put it on TV. I guarantee you won't get it.
So that goes back to you weren't able to review evidence.
Exactly. That goes back to there was no evidence. That was all he said, she said.
You know, she claimed multiple she testified multiple times that you kept the kids away from her after you agreed to co-parent.
I didn't keep no kids away from her. If you look into my emails, which my attorneys already know, right? There was text messages and all that kind of stuff. She was presented an opportunity to come down and see the kids. For one, and this has nothing to do about her. This has to do about a trial not being done properly like it was supposed to. Now, I'll go into that if you want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So she was presented an opportunity to come down and see the kids, right?
When?
This was after November of 2021, after I had all 4 of the boys, right? She was presented an opportunity to come down and visit them. She didn't even tell me that she was coming in town. She just popped up, right? So as soon as she popped up, I seen a text message on my phone saying, hey, I'm 30 minutes out. I'm on my way. Can you text me the address to your apartment, right? So I responded back. I texted her the address. She never showed up.
Why?
She never showed up because she went somewhere else. I don't know where she went. I don't know what happened, but she never showed up. This was 30 minutes later. You cannot tell me that you got so far as 30 minutes away from being to Hampton, Virginia. You turned around and went back to D.C., and you couldn't turn your behind right back around 30 minutes later to come see your kids if it was that important.
When did you agree to co-parent again?
When did I agree to co-parent?
Yeah.
There was never no agreement. That's already understood. Co-parenting. That's understood from the child's birth.
Then why didn't...
We've always been co-parenting.
Why wasn't the text thread with Dina shown in court?
Hold on. See, you making this thing about Dina. Stop making it about Dina. Write down the stuff that I'm telling you. Write that down.
Listen to how he talking to the news reporter, y'all. Listen to him. Look at his behavior now. How he talking to that lady. She asked you a question. You don't want her to ask nothing about Dina because you don't like Dina. You did that to hurt that little boy, to hurt Dina, what you did to Cody. That's what you did. And you knew hurting Cody would hurt his mom.
Write down these things that I'm telling you, because these are the things that I want you to talk about. Not about Dina.
Do your attorneys have the text thread where she didn't...
Are you trying to listen about Dina, or are you trying to write down what I'm telling you?
Oh, no, absolutely. Okay, we have everything down.
Okay, get that paper, sit right here in front of me, and I want you to write down everything that I'm telling you.
Don't tell.
I can't do that because it's getting all of what you're saying right here. So we're getting everything here.
Okay, I just want to make it known on the record, this is not about Dina. This is about a fair trial. And this is about presenting the things that I asked you for in preliminaries to prove the stuff that you're saying that I'm guilty of. And I told you, as far as the confession letter, there was 3 letters that was written about me, so-called coming in the house and finding my child unresponsive. Those letters were coerced. They told me to write that stuff down, and they told me through the
If you had 3 letters and they told you to write, I don't believe that. And if your child come in the house and unconscious around you, why is he unconscious? Come on, mister, 3 letters, and you talking about you ain't wrote none of them. Come on, man, come on. That's why you behind them ball now. You still lying.
Speakers in the jail, inside the cells. The COs were forcing me to write that stuff because I was not being treated properly. You can see by the clothes and stuff, my hair, all of that stuff when I showed up in court, that I was not being treated properly. There was up-to-date text information that was sent to my family during that time frame, and my lawyer, because we were on a group chat from the jail directly. I was sending them that stuff, telling them about how I was being mistreated, telling them to get the videos.
All right, and a lot of people want to know, do you know where Cody is?
Thank you.
No, I don't know what Cody is.
Why you snapping?
I never knew what Cody is, and that's unfair too. How you gonna say that I confessed to something? If I confess to it, then I'm telling you, hey, this is where my son is. You should have been able to go get him then, and it should have been over. You should have been able to prove hard facts that I killed my son, you found his body, and this is what
I'm
happened.
gonna tell you what allegedly.
Wander away? Did someone?
I'm gonna tell you something. Allegedly, he lost it with his 2 to 3 year old. You can hit a 3-year-old or 2-year-old, push them, and they don't weigh that much. You can hit them and they could go upside, they can go across the room. And now that man lost control of himself. He lost control, he's allegedly lost control of himself in a physical situation. And he know what he did to that baby. And it shocked him.
Kim, what do you?
I don't know what happened. All I know is, of course, he had to wander away, but did somebody take him? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know that. I know they didn't see nothing. They didn't come to me and tell me, though, Cody was upstairs and he was unresponsive and I needed to go check on him. That's a lie. My son was knocked out. My son had went to sleep earlier that night downstairs. He didn't wake up until I got frantic because I couldn't find Cody. And I went.
Listen to what this man saying, y'all. This baby was knocked out. You hear me? Cody was knocked out. And I'm not trying to take this to a degree. He didn't wake up and he never did wake up. That's what it is. He never did wake up. And he went to bed early. Come on, Daddy. Don't do that.
Shook him and said, hey, have you seen your brother? Before then, he had no recollection of anything going on with Cody. And he was questioned 2 times without me being present. And now all of a sudden he come up with this precise information that he's giving somebody. It wasn't even precise information because he didn't say that out of his mouth. He was asked specific questions and he gave specific answers based off of those questions that he was asked. That was coerced. And they took him away from the interview 3 times to pull him back, to make sure that he gave them the answer that they wanted.
Did you ever spank or hurt your children?
No, that's trash. Where's the autopsy report proving that? Did you see the autopsy report in court?
That's what the older brother.
See, you think you got away with something slick. You think you don't got away with something slick because you don't did this before. Allegedly. You don't did something like this before. And you didn't get away with this because you wanted to make sure they didn't find no what? Body. They didn't have a body.
Brother, that's what you're.
Did you see an autopsy report proving that?
Listen like it.
Exactly. There's none because it never happened.
So where's Cody?
Was my kids? Did you see a video of my kids when they was inside the precinct? Did you see the video of them in the room playing when they was in the room with me?
Yeah, let's talk about that interrogation. Were you voluntarily there?
I was voluntarily there. I volunteered for that.
Okay.
And I gave them copies of everything that I had. I offered it over to them. I said, credit card receipts, anything you want, you can have it. I gave them that stuff. They didn't ask me for that.
So what was your reaction? They arrested you first on the child neglect charges.
They didn't arrest me on no child neglect charges because the child neglect charges was too. And I'm saying that on camera, excuse my language, but that was too because it was me telling them that I do not have a babysitter. So sometimes at night, when my kids are asleep, I lock the door and I'll go to Food Lion and get them something to eat for the next morning. I'm pretty sure everybody in America, if their kids are asleep at night, you don't have a babysitter, it's 10, 11 o'clock at night, you're not calling nobody to come over there. You're not waking no kids up so you can go to the store and get what they need. If it's 15 minutes away, you're going to take your behind around the corner and go get it and come back and make sure your kids got what they got in the morning. As long as that door is locked and they sleep.
How do you respond to that? You know, the FBI.
I told them that, and then they started charging me with that. You can't charge somebody with something that I told you about. That's me confessing. So what you're doing is You're setting me up because you don't have nothing to charge me with. So now you're charging me with something that I was honest about. What you're saying, right? You got kids, right? Do you have any kids?
I don't like how he talking to
You
her.
got kids. There's a lot of people that got kids, right? Are you guilty of not taking pictures of your kids?
I don't take
Are
pictures.
you guilty of anything because you didn't take pictures of your kids? You understand what I'm saying? That's a waste of time. I'm not trying to hear nothing about no pictures. I don't have to take no pictures of my kids. Mom got pictures of them kids all the time up until the point where she stopped talking to me and stopped communicating with me. That's when I stopped sending pictures. I'm not trying to hear nothing about no pictures. That don't prove anything. That's trash. These Busch Gardens photos, they say, I didn't see none of those photos. Where are they at? Let me see those photos. I didn't even see them in court.
Did you take the photos?
No, not at all. I ain't take no photos at no. If I took photos at Busch Gardens, those were photos that was way before then. And I guarantee you, if you go to those electronic devices that I have, or that I had during that time, you will find those photos in there and they will be stamped for a year or 2 years before.
I don't know.
The forensic examiner said they were taken in July.
That's trash. Where is, okay, photos, timestamps on photos, right? How do you get that?
It's through data.
You want me to explain it to you? What you do is you pull up the photo, right? Once you pull up the photo, then you click on the corner of the photo where there's dots, right? It will tell you details, right? Once you click on details of the photo, it will slide over and it will give you a timestamp of that photo, right? If that's the case, then you should have had it printed in court the same way, showing it. You don't write down on a piece of paper that this was the timestamp for this was the timestamp for that, this was the timestamp for that, and then say, okay, this is the evidence. That is not, that's some shit you just made up.
You're saying the FBI analyst.
I'm saying the FBI, I'm exactly saying that.
Ooh.
Whoever the forensic analyst was, whoever it was. That's not how you do that.
Y'all know who that man remind me of? Henry Dinkins. He is reminding me of Henry Dinkins. But we found out about a body. He tried to hide that little girl body. But see, this man did something with that. His son guilty, and he trying to put it on somebody else. He trying to take the burden off of him and put it on somebody else. Listen how he talking. Listen how he talking to this lady.
That's not how you get the timestamp on a photo. You don't just come out of the top of your brain and say, okay, this was that day at this time.
Let's go to during trial. We didn't see much, kind of emotion from you, but what was going through your mind?
Oh, it was a lot going through my head. But at the same time, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to sit there and act a fool in court?
Why you ain't say nothing?
I gotta let my lawyers do their job. I'm gonna let them present whatever they presenting. So when they tell lies, I can do what I'm doing.
But you said they were lying. Why are you sitting there letting them lie, man? You just like Henry Dinkins.
I'm going right now to tell you the truth. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep a level head until it's over with, and then I'm going to talk to you about the real reality of what's going on.
Well, what's the real reality?
You were wrongly convicted?
Oh, I definitely was wrongly convicted. This is trash.
And you're innocent?
Yes. If you was being mistreated like I was, not getting showers, not getting fed properly, all that stuff, and not getting the things that you
see, it's not about that little boy. He keep putting it on him. But then when you talk about Dina, the mama, then he don't want you to say nothing about mama. But he bringing up stuff about him. He ain't bringing nothing about Cody. He's a mean person.
And people taking your commissary because your family's sending you money and you not getting it, not being able to call home, not being able to use the internet, you write whatever they tell you to write to.
No, you wouldn't.
And what are your next steps? Do you want to appeal this in court? Have you even?
That's for my lawyer. That's for my lawyer to figure out. Okay. That ain't for me.
What?
When I talk to my lawyer, then we'll come up with that. Until then,
He got old
That's not even
nasty.
a conversation. I'm just giving you facts. You asked for an interview, I'm giving you the interview.
You got a
And
bad.
I'm giving you the facts.
Where is that little boy? Where is Cody? You're not scaring nobody.
Of course.
Listen how he yelling at her.
What's your message?
What I'm saying is you said all of these things, now prove what you said. Even the body cam footage, when the CO so-called came in the cell to talk to me.
Yeah, you were calmly writing for maybe 15
Yeah, I was calmly writing, but what did I say when she first got in there? I said, are you serious? This what we doing? And she said, just write down whatever you're supposed to write. What does that mean?
Write down what you need to write.
Coercing me to write that down.
No, they not. No, they not.
Because why would I ask you, are we serious? Or ask you, is this really what we doing?
Yeah, that's what we doing.
You said it wasn't put on the big screen for nobody.
That man is guilty. I don't care what y'all say. He's guilty, he guilty, and he ain't gonna tell them where Cody is.
I didn't see in court. Did you see the video in court?
I don't think I was there at that exact moment.
Yeah, but whoever was there didn't see. You know why? Because they only wanted the jury to show it, because they only showed certain clips. If they would have showed the whole video, then they would have seen it. They didn't want it to be seen.
What's your message to everyone, especially for the people who worked so hard to search for Cody these 2+ years?
Keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing. I need that, because as soon as we find Cody, I guarantee you we'll find out that this is bull.
Oh, that ain't even right.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
There's nothing else that I would like to add. That's it.
Now, would you be willing? Okay. Sorry. Would you be willing to only do this interview with me, or do you plan to talk to other reporters if they ask?
I'm not talking to no other reporters. Okay. I did the interview. I said what I had to say. That's it.
You're leaving it there on the table.
That's it. I guarantee you, if you go search for the things I told you to search for, you'll find out that this is trash. That's what I'm asking you. Go search
so your
for
boy
the things I told you to search for. Ask them for the video copies of this, of everything that they're claiming that I did, right? I guarantee you, you'll find out that I'm telling you the truth. If you go search for the things that I'm telling you to search for. Search for the email from her. Ask her, where's the email that she sent me asking about her kids on January 2022 that didn't even exist? Where's that email? Never seen it. Where's all the video footage of them moving me into jail from that unit where I was over there on suicide watch because I was so-called committing suicide? Look at my wrist. Do they look like they was ever being slit?
Oh, they said you never acted.
Exactly. So why would I be on suicide watch? Was there anything in my cell that you found in there that I could commit suicide with? No. But you went in there and searched through a composition book and grabbed a letter that was written in crayon that was X'd out. And you know why I was in there and it was X'd out? Because I was told through the intercoms that if I tried to throw it in the trash can, they were going to get it out of the trash can. For one, for you to come in my room and do that, you're supposed to have a search warrant.
Yeah. It don't got my last nerve. Let me see, can I find something else on him? He done got on my last nerve. I couldn't watch this trial, y'all.
You know you could leave your loved ones with
I couldn't. I went past this trial. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't watch him. He remind me. This man remind me of Henry Dinkins. And Henry didn't want us to find that little girl, but that little boy told. So this little 7-year-old saved his brother's life, but we can't find him.
I tainted any potential jury pool. I didn't want anyone to say that we are trying to get a narrative out there that would be prejudicial to the defendant. I purposely waited until this trial was concluded and the jury, the community, spoke and said guilty, and then to speak to all of you. It's been a long journey, a long road. Commonwealth has never asked for a continuance in this case. If you all recall, every continuance, every delay has been by the defense. We have been ready day one. And we've been ready day one because it's there. The evidence was puzzled together to get us to this day. And would it not be poetic justice that the day that we chose for the sentencing to be the anniversary, the third anniversary of the day that the defendant was convicted of murdering his 3-year-old child, which is June 18th, 2024. So just poetic justice. So with all of that, I open the floor to questions.
Mr. Bell, you talked about the decision to put a 7-year-old on the stand, and would this verdict have been possible without his testimony?
It was a puzzle. And so what I had to do is put together a puzzle. And he was a big piece of that puzzle, but we believe that each piece was dependent on other pieces of that puzzle. He was able to confirm that June 18th date as far as when it happened, and he was also able to confirm the fact that that baby had been dead for months, because the last time he saw him, he was dead. And he went to the Busch Gardens in the Water Country, USA, right after that. And that was July 5th through the 14th and 16th. So he was able to give us that date, but he was more so able to confirm that he was indeed dead, and that
Look at that, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all what the daddy did. See, what the daddy did. After he did that, allegedly did this to his son, he's gonna take that 7-year-old to the amusement park, thinking that he will forget about his brother. That he forget all about what happened while he having a good time eating, snacking, and riding on those rides out there. But he just don't know when he got home, that little boy still want to know where his brother at. That's what daddy allegedly thought that he had did, was cross that little boy mind out. And he was surprised that that 7-year-old, these children remember stuff now.
That was retrieved from that composition book was not some bogus confession as the defense was trying to make it out to be, trying to paint him to be crazy or tortured or in some manner just losing it because he was going through this grief. No, his conscience was beating him up. His conscience was dictating why he was writing those letters, writing those confessions, saying those things, because that child was innocent. And
I told y'all.
Can take it.
I told y'all that that man allegedly beat that little boy to death, and he wasn't intended to beat that little baby like that. That little boy got up to his last nerve. That's why he did that son like that. And then he just a few minutes ago, you all just heard him testify right there and giving that news related saying that he didn't write nothing that something was wrong with him. He the one was telling them something wrong with him so he can go and eat good meals and walk around and be like ain't nothing happened to him. But since he didn't get what he wanted, then since he didn't get what he wanted, then now he complaining because the letters didn't work. It didn't move him to no mental institution. It kept him where he's supposed to be.
When did you find out that Cory Bigsby would not be testifying? And had he testified, what was going to be your plan of attack?
I was going to have no mercy with him.
There you go.
If he took that stand, you would have seen another beatdown in the courtroom. It would have been a legal beatdown.
That's why he didn't take the stand.
There would have been no mercy. And so that was his choice to not take the stand. We found out when they stated to the court that he was not going to take the stand. But cross-examination would have been something else to see.
In the trial, Mr. Curtis Brown has a very repetitive and combative demeanor, especially during your case. What sort of challenges did that present?
Well, here's the thing. My job is to represent the Commonwealth and the people of this city. His job is to represent his client. And so was he zealous in representing his client? Yes. Would I have done those things? Absolutely no, because I will not fall from dignity in order to lower myself to those standards. So that's his choice. He made it. He has to live with it. Yes, ma'am.
Do you think Mr. Brown is going to file appeal on this case?
Oh, I'm certain he will. But the Attorney General office, they handle Commonwealth Attorney Appeals, and so we're confident that we absolutely laid out sufficient evidence for that appeal to be denied.
So what I want to get to now is the guilty verdict, but I want to finish this out right here.
Charges against Mr. Bigsby. Where do those go from here?
Oh, we will try him on those cases too. We want full and complete accountability. So that's next.
Attorney, if he decides to allocate as to where the child is and what he did with the child, will you give him consideration in your sentencing recommendation?
Did I answer your question? No.
There you go. There you go.
What is your recommendation going to be?
45 years. 40 years for second degree murder, which is the max. 5 years for discharging or discarding a dead body. That's the most I can get. That's what I'm going to ask for.
That's right.
Or is it going to be up to the judge, or does the jury have a say in the sentencing?
It is up to the judge.
At what point in this case did you know that you had the right guy?
Actually, early on. When he was over at the police department, there were things that were going on. For instance, we already knew what the search and rescue dog did. We already knew that the cadaver dog had already detected a dead body. So we already knew a dead body had already been in that room early on, very early on. And so the question now was, how do we prove it? Because it's one thing for you to think this is what occurred. It's another thing to be able to prove it. And so as time began to lapse, more evidence started to come together. We were able to download the digital images showing timelines. We were able to talk to Cory because Cory was getting older. And so let me go here. So I'll go here because I could talk about that now. There was the allegation, and he hinted at it, but basically there was the allegation that Cory was somehow coached by either his mother or coached by myself. I have done, one of my specialties is trial cases involving children. I came to Hampton back in 2000. Wow, it's been 24 years. 2000, Peter, it's been a long time, hasn't it? Back in 2000, I came to Hampton, and my specialty was child sexual assault cases. So I am very familiar, that's very familiar territory for me, to be able to prepare a child for any type of testimony, any type of
Okay, then what I want to do, I want to find that mom, when the mom testified. I want to see the verdict. That's what I want to see, the verdict. How did he react on the verdict? That man did it. He remind me of what's his name? Henry Dinkins. He remind me of Henry Dinkins so bad. But Henry got away with the body. But he didn't Henry didn't get away with the body because of BJ, TJ, what the little boy name. But this little boy right here, he knew his brother was dead. Excuse me, y'all. Hold on for a second. Let me find the verdict. I didn't want to see his reaction. Cause I didn't want to look at this. I think I was looking at another case. We were looking at another case. I didn't want to see this one. Let me see something. Let me see his verdict. How did he react when they say he was guilty? Because he thought he got away with it.
So forth. However,
so we already seen
so forth. However, here was the thing with the.
Okay, then
I just got a link about a delivery. Did you get me a birthday gift?
Yeah.
Jeannie.
So forth.
Behind the 8 ball because they were 6 months behind. That's because he says, and they have proven that little Cody died in June of 2021. when that's when he died, and not January of 2022 when he was reported missing. And it's the 7-year-old boy, he said, that was the one that confirmed that Cody died in June. All right, let's go to Dan Kennedy. He has been listening to the news conference. And Dan, your observations about what Bell has said and how this case played out.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just ask you a quick question.
Okay, all right. Apparently, he is doing some
That's who I
case
want.
to arrest. It is a resolution, justice for the mother. Bell talked about how proud he was of the mother who testified. I mean, there are things that went on in that relationship, he says, that obviously they could not bring up during the trial. So there's a lot about the mother. She's right there.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right here, and I want to thank y'all for being here. But I'm gonna. It's some more I want to do to this case because this man, he thought he got away when he took that little boy to the amusement park. Cory thought that he got thought he got away, and he didn't get away. He didn't get away with it. That 7-year-old know his brother was not with them when they left. And his brother used to be with them. And he probably asked his daddy where Cody at. And tell him what his daddy told him. So we gonna get back on this verdict. We gonna get back on this, okay? I love y'all. We will be back on this trial, okay? I'm out. Oh, and another thing, happy birthday. It's the day of your birthday. Mine's Monday, y'all.